What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to ApocaflixMovies. I am Jake Berlin, and I am joined today by Brian Avellino, and we are here to talk about the hottest topic in movies right now that dropped yesterday. It is now Monday, and we're going to be talking about 007, and no, not Daniel Craig or Cary Fukunaga, but rather Lashana Lynch, and the news is running wild by everyone out there. Some reports, rumors, speculation, however you want to describe it, saying that Lashana Lynch will, in fact, be playing the first ever female version of 007 in the new movie coming out next year. Nothing has, and if I'm mistaken, Brian, make sure you correct me on this one, but nothing has said that she is taking over the role or that she will be the James Bond in the future. It's saying that she is going to be playing a version of her in this movie, correct?
So everything I'm hearing, never once has it been saying that she is going to be James Bond or
or
female Jane Bond. It has always been said that she is going to be 007, meaning the number, the call sign, the agent number. We've seen 006 in GoldenEye. So 007, they're saying that she is going to hold that title at some point in this movie. At least that's what I've seen.
Yeah, so I mean, let's just spend a few minutes talking about this, because obviously, if this does in fact happen, I mean, whether or not she plays Jane Bond or whatever, if she's just a character who ended up taking over the title of 007, obviously it's a big deal because it's the first ever time that's happening that someone other than James Bond is carrying that card. Yeah. And of course, the fact that she is a female and a African American female is taking over that role, and so
will she be technically African American?
Well, okay, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because what does this mean for the future of James Bond? Like, are they setting up movies for the future, or is this maybe just like an idea? Like, we had talked about this previously before we got on. You had a very interesting idea, and it almost seems like it's very fitting for this to happen. And the fact that maybe James Bond is no longer an agent, in the ranks, and he's done. He called quits, and she just happened to take over the role of 007 because he's gone. Yeah. Which more than likely seems like it's plausible, but maybe the idea of her possibly taking over the number at the end of the movie, setting up movies down the line, is also up in the air, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, you can go either way, really. I personally think, and this I was reading through what people were saying, and whether or not it's true, whatever, there might be little truths in everything. But from what I feel it's going to be is Daniel Craig has either taken time off, has relinquished his title because he went through some ish from the last couple of movies, and is no longer holding that title of 007. I would assume that at some point her character is going to either die or kidnapped or something.
He has to come back in.
Something's going to happen to her, and she is going to no longer hold that title, and it's going to revert back to him, and so on and so forth. However that plays out in the movie. It literally sounds like that's exactly something that a Bond movie would do. Like,
yeah, definitely. The only thing that I would counter on that one is because, and I definitely think that's more than likely going to happen. But the reason why I probably wouldn't want that to happen is because we've seen him retire. I want to say we've seen Daniel Craig's Bond retire twice already in this franchise, and it would feel very repetitive if he retired and then came back into the fold, because he retired did he retire in the last one, Spectre, or was it Skyfall that he retired?
I'm not, off the top of my head, I'm not 100%
sure. It was either one of those, but then at the end of, I want to say at the end of like Quantum of Solace, he retired as well. He called it quits.
I mean, it almost always seems like he retires.
Oh no! It was at the end of Casino Royale. He sent in his resignation at the end of the first one.
Oh, you're
That's
right.
when it was.
You're right. You're right.
So it almost feels like it's happened every movie, and which, I mean, if they do it every movie, like, whatever. But if they make it an interesting enough, story plot point where he has to come back into the fold or he retired for a specific reason, I'm all for it. And in no way am I against her taking over the role of 007 as far as just for the movie or possibly in the future. Um, like I was telling one of our buddies as we were having this conversation earlier, it's more of a show me you can actually do it type of thing. Like, show me how you're going to do it, show me how it's going to fit, how it's going to work, and then I'll be satisfied and then I'll be happy. Until then, I'm going to talk about it, I'm going to speculate about it, I'm going to wonder about it. But right now I'm just in a mode of like, okay, if you're really doing that, show me it works. Like, prove to me that it actually can work.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I mean, for me, obviously 007 is a part of him, but like, I almost sometimes forget the 007 even exists because I just think James Bond. Like, James Bond is the name, and it kind of just encompasses everything about him and his character that I almost sometimes forget that he even has the 007. Like, it's only really kind of almost like brought up by like a character like 007 do this or something or rather, and
it's used very little in this iteration of James Bond. He's called Bond or he's called James. The Pierce Brosnan movies, he was called 007 like every other second. But he's called Bond. He's called Bond, and we rarely ever hear the name 007.
Yeah, I mean, Judi Dench pretty much always uses 007 when she spoke. But, I mean, as of recently, like you said, you hear Bond more than anything. So, I mean, if it's just the number title, like, it doesn't really bother me at all.
Yeah, like, I think that's what people need to relax on is she's not playing Jane Bond. Like, James Bond is in this movie. They're not going to have her play Jane Bond because James Bond's in this movie. Yeah. And if James Bond wasn't in this movie, then people can have legit conversations about this. Be like, oh, I don't like this idea. Yeah. But she's not playing Jane Bond. And so that's kind of where I see people need to maybe pump the brakes a little bit. Because, first of all, we don't know how it's going to happen or even if it's going to happen. Because right now, nothing is official. Yeah. Nothing has actually been solidified by anybody that it's actually happening.
And nothing has ever said she's going to be James Bond. Every single article has always said she's the new 007, which, I mean, that there right now tells you your answer.
Totally. And it's just like another agent covering another agent's number when they leave. I mean, we've seen it plenty of times in plenty of other movies before. Yeah. But quickly, just the last minute or two here, there was also news revolving around this movie recently over the weekend that Christoph Waltz's Blofeld will be returning in this movie. And if you are a James Bond fan, you know that Blofeld plays a huge part in the James Bond lore. But the difference between this character and previous iterations is that they're half brothers. That they are related, and so that's pretty big because they're making it much more personal. Which the Daniel Craig ones have been personal to begin with, but I really like this. I didn't like Spectre as much as I wanted to. I definitely thought it was probably one of maybe the lesser of the bunch of the Daniel Craig movies, but I thought Christoph Waltz was such a perfect choice for that character, and I hope that a new director can kind of maybe turn him into something really more menacing if he does have a giant role, which would be really cool to see those two go toe to toe again.
Couldn't agree more with basically everything you just said.
And then just imagine Christoph Waltz and Rami Malek teaming up together in a villain. Because Rami Malek is playing the bad guy. He is the bad guy. I keep forgetting
Rami Malek is the bad guy, and I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So excited. We'll definitely have to keep an eye out for that because that's going to be really fun to see, if he does have a big role. But whether or not, I think having him in there makes sense because they are related, and these movies have been very personal, and because this is Daniel Craig's final outing as the character, it only makes sense to have him in there, even if it is for a little bit. So. But all right, there's our thoughts on the new news for James Bond 007, Lashana Lynch possibly taking over the role of 007 in just this movie for now. Again, nothing has been confirmed by anybody. And then Christoph Waltz possibly coming back as well as Blofeld. But yeah,
I'll laugh if she just is nothing. None of this is coming.
I know, right?
And everyone freaked out for nothing.
The internet lights itself on fire once again for no reason. So
yeah.
But yeah, we'll keep an eye out on this, and we'll cover everything we possibly can for this, because this is definitely one of the bigger movies for next year, and this is some big news, and so look out for that. We could be seeing our first ever female 007 in the future, which is pretty cool. And so for Brian, for myself, thank you for joining us on this episode of Apocalypse Movies as we cover some more news stories. Make sure you check us out on iTunes, Instagram, this YouTube channel, of course. And again, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time.
Hey everyone, Jacob Bartley here. Thanks for watching. If you want to check out something similar from Apocaflix Movies, click this video up here. You want something a little bit different? Check out this video down here. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to Apocaflix Movies and let us know your thoughts in the comments section. We always love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.